Hey everybody, welcome back to another town hall. Hey Andy, how are you? Getting a snack
Very good,
in real
mate.
quick.
Kit Kats. Kit Kat for
Oh,
winners
yeah,
and a
awfully
beer.
good.
It's Friday.
It
Yeah.
is truly
And it's not
entirely.
Friday morning. That's the other thing to bear in mind.
It has been a crazy busy week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, we've really kind of ramped up everything behind the scenes. I know that people in the community don't get to see what all goes on, but man, the duck web feed underneath the surface of the water just pounding away like crazy. We just build, and so much is going on. We're not going to be able to cover it all because we're going to try to make this a 30-minute update today. But there's so much that's been going on, and we'll try to hit the highlights and then keep people ready. Again, TGE on December 9th, coming up real fast. The NANO Sales have gone live, and we'll explain that here in a quick second too. But how you feeling, Andy? You get the energy, and you seem like you're. I mean, you never seem like
Mate,
you've
excited. Do you know what I mean? I think, do you know, sometimes, I mean, you'll know this, right? You spend so long, and think about this. We've been 2 years for you and me in the project, slogging away, getting things moving, and you've seen the technology develop over time. And when you look back on what we've done over the last, or say what we've done, on a commercial perspective, from a game perspective, what the tech guys have done from a tech perspective, it's brilliant. But all of it, it's been a hard kind of run to now. And now it feels like, I mean, also we can't mention names about who we were just talking to 4 minutes ago, but some of the people we're now talking to are like, this is brilliant. Right. Okay. You're going to get there. Right. Once you've got the TGE done, you've got the nodes live, you've got, the traction pulling, we've got the games. It feels exciting, I think. I don't know about you.
I think it's a combination of several things, right? We've got a market that's maturing in the deep in space. People are starting to understand where the bad actors have gone out, and those projects that have real technology that are really addressing a market that really needs it in the way that we are. And again, I don't know, there's so many of them, but talking about tapping into the cloud gaming market, which now Sony and Microsoft and everyone's realizing that, hey, cloud gaming is the future, but they also still come up with the same problem that that NVIDIA is coming up with, and that the lines are too long on a Friday night. They can't service the amount of need that's out there. So, and they can't scale up because it's too expensive to do so. So again, everything that we're planning on doing, or everything that we have already built, is coming to the market at the right time. That's one part of it. And then the other part of it is that the crypto space is getting more accepted in the US. People are talking about it pretty openly. Like, this is the way that the financial system is going to move to. What other technology does that enable? And we're part of that cycle as well. So yeah, many things happening at the same time that's all working in our benefit. So it feels good. Feels real good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's happened in the past week. So we've talked to now we've engaged in a larger marketing effort that's really going to start seeing heavy gears starting on Monday, from what YOM is telling me. But in that cycle, we started talking to some other KOLs who are, I would say, I don't want to say higher caliber. We've got some great KOLs who are attached with us already, but some of the ones we're talking to are doing like serious vetting.
Yeah. I think that the KOLs has been an interesting one, because I think we're the same on this, and I think most people within crypto, if you're still here now, you're pretty much the same. You're one or two people, aren't you? You're either into meme coins and you've done shilling, and it's all about the pump and blah, blah, blah. And it's about making money fast, Forexing your money and then running away. Or there are people who see genuine real life values and real life uses for the crypto and the Web3 space. And I think that what we're doing now is we're tapping into these people in this space. Yeah. I mean, that one that we were talking about earlier, which we can't announce until we get it announced, is in the top 5, in the world, but a proper advice and proper analysis and things like that. Not, hey, here's a pump, because they've already pumped it themselves in the background and hoping for the best.
And this is part of what gives me my optimism, right? He's in the top 5, and he's someone who does due diligence. People are recognizing that the top 5 is no longer people who are just shilling really fast, right? Top 5 are people who do the due diligence, who look at the projects and say, yeah, I would like to help you out. Or probably they a fair amount of time say, listen, we're not going to attach our name to your project because it's going to soil our name, right? So I'm sure there are plenty of projects that influencer and others to get pitched to and say, that's not going to be something that I'm going to tie myself to, because I don't want to be known as a guy who's getting involved in a project like yours. Whereas we've always passed that gate. Really any influencer that we've talked to who's taking a deep look at our stuff has not had that kind of problem. It's not been we're not going to get involved in you because we don't think you're real technology.
But I think it's also it's dividing between the shillers and the real, I don't even call it influencers. It's their opinion leaders in the true context of an opinion leader. Someone who says, this is the new technology. This is why it's cool. This is why it's good. And genuinely, they're not trying to sell you something.
Right.
They're talking to you about something. And this is, I think, where especially with KOLs, right? There are KOLs who are like, yeah, just follow this token because it's going to go up. And then there are KOLs who are like, they're actually educating and advising and supporting and helping everybody's journey.
I would say that's been part of my education as well. So when we first started, 2 years ago, when we first started talking about knowledge opinion leaders, KOLs, I didn't even know what the term was, and then I became jaded because I'd seen, I tell people about this all the time. I've got so many dead NFTs in my wallet, and unfortunately, I get something the meme coin, right? And that was all led by KOLs who I was led by the nose. They got me hooked in, and I followed them around. So of course, I was immediately jaded when we talked about we're going to get involved in KOLs. But my education over the time has been what you're saying. Some of these folks have really have got the goal of educating people, getting them foreknowledge, doing the research for you, because you couldn't possibly research all the projects that are out there, right? So they do provide a valuable service. I've changed my opinion around to understanding the valuable service they provide in the 2 years we've been working on this. So that's
but there's exciting KOLs coming. Basically, is the end result, and also there's a couple of one of the agencies we're using at the moment, Diverse, who have got like great reputation, amazing connections in the platforms. And again, I think this leads us nicely into a little conversation about the IDO platforms and how we're launching and why we're doing DEXs. I think the IDO platforms, I think 5 or 6 years ago, or 3 years ago, even, it feels like a lot longer, doesn't it? It felt that you went on an IDO platform, the token went up, everyone bought in, everyone sort of stayed with the project. You got multiple marketing, blah, blah, blah. It feels now it's a little bit like, hold on. So, you do these IDO platforms, you sell cheap tokens to the IDO people. They then watch the pump, exit the tokens, take the liquidity out of the business, and then sit there waiting, and they've made 100% of the money back in the first 10 minutes. Right. And I think that where this is leading us to is being really selective around the IDOs that we're talking to, and making sure that those IDOs are only ones who are in it for the long haul, and the KOLs that we're dealing with, they're taking some, YOM, but they're only taking it over a certain time frame. It's not. So there is an incentive for all of them for the token price to go up, but not go, we're going to pump it like crazy, and then they sell, and then the price goes down. We've all seen that, haven't we? It's that kind of price pump, price crash.
But again, we're fortunate in that you're and yourself and Ron, all of us who are involved have had we've done our 2 cycles at least in the market, and kind of now I've learned our lessons from those other 2, at least 2. I think Europe might have been around even longer than that, but kind of learned our lessons and know what smart moves are, what dumb moves are, and just being really cautious about not involving ourselves in any moves that kind of cripple us out of the gate. So all that stuff seems to make a lot of sense. I did want to kind of mention really quick. So for the community who are watching these town halls and everything, one of the things that can really help us out as the push next week really starts to kick off, and you start seeing more of on our Twitter, or you'll see our name more places than just our own outlets. It's essential for you to not just retweet, but actually comment into the threads on Twitter. The algorithm, from what I understand, it pushes those conversations that go long, right? So the more responses a thread gets, the more that conversation gets promoted to more people who would normally see it. So commenting in our threads really helps us out, and of course, bringing some friends into the community on the way.
Just on that note as well, by the way, funnily enough, I don't know if you saw. In fact, I'm sure you've seen part of it. Wes did an interview with me in Singapore, and I did it anyway. I went in to like my own tweet on X.
Right.
And my ex on X, I don't know what you call them now. Do you call them a tweet on X? Anyway, but I went on to like it, and it said, "This could be a bot," and I was like, "What?" Yeah, like, and I actually, funny enough, wrote, I'll say, "Hey, is it bad to like your own tweet?" Yeah, and that's all I put. And I think there's an interesting bit here where what they're looking with the algorithm is if it's like yes or LFG or la la la, then the algorithm doesn't consider it. It's got to be like, okay, right, well, how many things are you connecting this to? You know, is there a decent, you know, as I expanded the kind of conversation, it went, yeah, okay, now we'll take it. So I think there's a bit there around, you know, making sure we have proper
tickle the post. That's what they say. Tickle that post. We like to
tickle the post. I like it. Yeah.
I am getting ready to drop another Medium article too that kind of explains. One of the things I wanted to touch on real fast is our mascot Walter. I want to make sure people understand that that's not just. I mean, it started off as just kind of like a lark, but he's so much more to us now. So when that Medium article gets posted, looking for it on our socials. It'll tell you a little bit more about why we have who we have and the reason behind Walter. You'd say it that way. So that's coming out soon. But the bigger. Wait, are we ready to go to the biggest news? Wait a minute. There was another agenda item. I'll make sure I'm not jumping the gun because we have the big drop to make. But
there's a bit that I was going to talk about just from so people get the understanding about. Obviously, our node launch is live, yeah, or our node sale is live, and people will drop a link to that where people can go and buy the nodes. It's a maximum of 1,000. So you know, once they're gone, they're gone. You know, and we will only start scaling when we hit 60% occupancy of the first ones, which will start bringing in a decent amount of revenue for the first people. So again, that's how we're going to do it. I think I was going to talk about demand really, and I think there's been a bit here around, and again, this conversation we just had is with one of the biggest heavyweights in gaming in the US, and he was quite good fun anyway. But he was sitting in LA going, yeah, you know, these guys, they sort of lost demand and they didn't have enough. And I said, look, we've got 40 game companies that want to go live, and there's 15 that are on a urgent live list. And 2 of them are some of the biggest gaming companies out there. Now, on that list, it ended up being about 400 games that want to go live. Now, to give you an idea, we can do 1,000 nodes will result in about 10 million monthly streams maximum. Now, if you take 60% of that, it's probably going to end up being 6 million streams. You know, that's enough for us to easily be break even and you know, making cash. But the really interesting bit is that that's probably only, you know, kind of 5 or 6 games maximum. We've got 400 that want to go live.
Yeah, I still think that, I mean, we said 1,000 for the first batch. It made sense for many reasons, but we're going to, my fear is that we're going to fill them up so fast. It's a good fear because that means everybody who owns one is doing very well for themselves. But then I feel like we're going to end up having the problem that NVIDIA is having, where people are trying to play and they get a wait, which is not going to be great for us, I think.
Yeah, but I think the interesting thing is that the 1,000 nodes arrived on, what day we take? Friday. They arrived on Wednesday in Kent. So weirdly enough, it's cheaper to buy them in, or cheaper and more effective to buy them in Taiwan. Bring the 1,000. They can flash all 1,000 in under 30 seconds. How they do it, I've got no idea. And then they box them and package them up in the UK and then send them out to Europe and wherever. But I think that 1,000, we can do that. Once this first lot's gone, we can do 2, 3, 5, 10,000, 4-week turnaround, 2-week flashing, 2-week delivery, 8-week start to finish. So
that makes me feel better.
But then on a good thing.
We can go to a second batch pretty rapidly, which is, again, I think I think that's going to be something that we're going to end up watching the need for, because I feel like that's the way that's the path we're going to be on, I think. Well, let's show folks really quick that, so if you're ready and looking to purchase your node, we are live, and our sales went live this morning. So this is very, very fresh. I'll bring this up. Here is the page. So again, we had Fresh Miners in that 7-hour live stream that I did. Those guys were awesome. And then Europe went over to their offices to hang out with them for a bit and talk to them more. But there it is. All you have to do is go to Fresh Miners and search for freshminers.com and search for YOM. YOM Nano will come up.
And that's the finished design, isn't it? So that is so it's a really nice box. It'll open. I mean, we might change it over the next couple of years as things move forward. But and also there is an option where we might do deals, and we're getting lots of interest for actually having branded nanos. So imagine if you've got Fortnite Nano. I mean, not that we're discussing with Epic Fortnite nanos, but just as an example, you get Fortnite Nano, Fortnite on one side, Nano on the other, and YOM, and pays out in V-Bucks. There's so many options out there for us to do that. Yeah, it's cool.
I think the idea it's interesting, and as part of the article I was writing about Walter, I was talking about so apes move in troops, or what do they call them? They call them troops, and they call them something else.
They are troops, aren't they?
The troops or bands. That's the two terms they talk about. A herd of gorillas is one of those things. But I would expect that we're going to have herds or troops, bands of people who have bought the nanos. Certainly the first 1,000, right? The founders edition, that'll be a band of their own, right? And then you'll have some that are circled, like you said, they will have branded for certain games, and the group will have their own Discord channel, their own group as well. There'll be some that'll have all the 50 XX, right? All the 5070s and 50. They'll form their own band as well. I think you're going to see groups of people, but we'll all cooperate. But we'll all have a portion of the network, or our own like little corner of the network that will feel like it's ours, right? A little bit. We'll have some agency or kinship with people who are also in the same boat that we're in, right?
Yeah. Interesting. That's very similar to how, maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it anyway. It's sort of very similar to how NFTs were built out. There was that. Do you remember a kid called Beast? They did.
Yeah.
Now they had groupings, and then there were different groups within the groups, and then you sealed yourself in, and it was done to a very good degree. I don't know if it's still going actually, or if it's gotten.
Well, I didn't say. I mean, that it happened with the DGen apes that I was a pretty active member in that community. All the purple apes, we all had our group. All the apes that were wearing overalls, we all had our groups. We had our different Discord groups and everything. So we found ourselves, and it was funny because we also had people with the overalls. That my ape had, they all seem like to be creative, and we're all putting out like either cartoon strips. I did that animated series. They seem to be the creative groups, and I don't know what the overalls did to attract creative peoples, but they did. So yeah, I think
we have got one here, obviously as well, which I'd be silly if I didn't.
There you go. Yeah, and the MBR group. Yeah.
This hoodie's just the best hoodie, which does remind me. I think actually we're going to be doing YOM. These hoodies are. European cotton. They're amazing. I won't tell you the brand, but it's not cheap. But we'll be doing some of these first of all for us, and then for everybody else we'll be giving access as well. So there'll be some cool hoodies and t-shirts and stuff like that coming as well.
And as part of this big marketing push starting next week, we're going to start doing some quests that'll include gaming off the network. So that's going to be a big thing too. I was working with some of our engineers to dress up the ending so that we can have like a reward splash page and all that, and then those rewards will pay into the quest system. So that's coming up really shortly too. So I think that's everything we wanted to hit. Like TGE, is there anything new about TGE that we need to talk about? I mean, December 9th is coming up fast. We got about 3 weeks and then a couple of days.
Yeah. I was going to say, obviously, DEXs, we are just in final conversations at the moment. Basically, everybody wants to go live. Chains, obviously, we will be confirming in the next couple of weeks as well. IDO platforms, we're being super selective. We've binned loads, unfortunately. Unfortunately for them, not for us, and not for the community. But we'll be announcing those next week. Yorit and I will be in Helsinki at Slush, which is one of the biggest gaming fundraising and investment groups in the world, basically. And it's all business to business. So we'll be there next week. So maybe we'll do a live stream next Thursday, Friday in a pub or whatever they have as Finnish version of a pub. Is it a sauna with a vodka? I don't know. It's going to be something fun anyway, isn't it?
Now, as interesting as Helsinki would be to visit, I don't know that I'm myself personally apt to going to GDC and Unreal Fest. I don't know that going to a B2B gaming conference would be something that I would. I mean, happy that you guys are going, but I'm glad that I wasn't invited.
Yeah, well, But do you know what I would say though is that the funny bit is when you go to Gamescom, and next year I'm sure we'll have you over for Gamescom. You go to Gamescom, you walk through. So when you get a business invite to Gamescom, you get in early. So at 8 a.m. you can go into the bit where the retail and all the consumers go to.
Okay.
And it's cool because it's nice. But if you ever go in there at about midday, it's horrendous. It's like 8 billion people. There's queues everywhere. There's people getting autographs off people I've got no idea who they are. And the B2B bit is safe. Yeah. I'm like, get me to this bit where there's kind of, you know, not a billion people all queuing for Pokemon stickers, you know. But yeah, I think Slush is pretty cool. And I think we've actually got quite a few good meetings while we're over in Slush. So I'm quite looking forward to that. It's going to be good. Pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that was a fast. We said let's shorten these because people don't spend the whole hour watching. We get down to like 20 minutes. Maybe we get more people watching. But then of course we've been doing the clips, and the clips have been doing very well. So it's just they're not as dense, but they're faster, and people are watching more of them. So that's nice too.
Brilliant. And I'm definitely getting a new camera, by the way. This integrated one. You look great.
You look so pale compared to my nice bronze skin.
But also, mate, don't forget, we were on a call literally 30 minutes ago when the sun was out. And I was even looking at you thinking, oh, we're about the same tanness. Something else not bad. But obviously, as soon as the lighting goes, I found one that can do fake tan on, by the way. So I'll buy that. So it looks like I've got fake tan. Perfect. Just for fun. All right, good stuff, Jeff. Thanks ever so much. And
all right, we'll talk
guys,
soon.
watch this
Thanks
space.
everybody for paying attention. We'll see you on the Discord and inside the Telegram.
Same time, same place next week. Or
I would like to, yes. But if you're going to be at Slush, I'm not sure I can pull that off. Maybe it'll
I think we can.
I'll grab your
I think
own.
we can.
Yeah. Or I can grab your own and roll on something like that too. Yeah, let's say same time next week. We'll do it again.